pick yourselves up by the bootstrap and just keep on going. And as long as you have enough courage, then, life isn't easy. And so you just got to keep going. You just got to keep pushing on. And I think that's what it basically means, that even though through hard times in business or in life itself, you have to just keep going. It's kind of the term as well, this too shall pass. It's up for you to determine what it means to you within itself. So not to give up.
I think they call those terminating phases. Another, like, it is what it is, right? Where you stop thinking and you just keep going, right? You just set it aside, no more analysis, time to just move forward.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like anything else, like starting a business, right? I mean, you don't know if it's going to succeed, but you really want something. You have to have faith in it. You have to have faith in yourself. You have to have faith in the process. And so I think when you're, for example, in business, when you open up a business or start up a business, you have faith, and through time you develop that strength, or you have strength and not so much faith, but you keep going because you have strength. And so it kind of works or bounces off each other or go hand in hand.
Welcome to the show, where we explore the who, what, when, how, and why of the extraordinary people who define our north of normal metro. I'm Conrad Fargo, and this is the Fargo Five. Today we have Edison Arouse, the owner of Edison Chiropractic. Hello, Edison.
Hi.
So, did I say that last name correctly? That's...
Yes.
Yeah, I imagine it has a more... with the Z, it's got a Z in there,
yes.
right? I mean, the dad jokes kind of write themselves. I mean, I should speak. Mine is Clink Hammer, So it's everybody's name is open to whatever. But I said that all right.
Yes,
okay.
yes, Arouse. Yes, definitely.
Okay, and you do Edison Chiropractic. Why don't you go ahead, let us know what it is that you do? What is that?
Yes, definitely. So, Edison-chiropractic.com or Edison Chiropractic. Downtown here off Main Avenue, 624, Main Avenue, Suite 4, the same building as the Mercantile Building, same as entrance there, as Salon Duo. And I'm a chiropractor that does acupuncture as well, and I also incorporate, not all the time, but also incorporate some herbal medicine. Traditionally, acupuncture goes hand in hand with herbal medicine, but it's just in the U.S. and more in the Western world, they've kind of split it apart where people have only done more acupuncture and kind of left out the herbal medicine part. But generally and traditionally, it goes hand in hand. So yeah, I mean, it's I've been doing this for about going on 17 years, and I like to incorporate chiropractic and acupuncture, and that started back in 2007, where I got a position with Dr. Scott Varley, who's retired by the time when I got there, and it started interning with him. He was already 69 and ready to retire, and he had a mentor as well, who he has been who he was shadowing for over 30 years, and his name was Dr. Guo. Dr. Guo was a tumor surgeon in Chicago, and he retired from that. Once he retired from that, he focused more on acupuncture and Chinese medicine. And Dr. Guo was a 7th generation acupuncturist and herbalist. And he was from China. He got his doctorates from China and then immigrated to the U.S. and got his MD degree in the U.S., so he had a double doctorates. And then Dr. Scott Varley was a chiropractor who also got his degree in acupuncture. But he started shadowing Dr. Guo many, many years ago by the time I got there. And he became one of Dr. Guo's main students. And I was very fortunate to get a position with Dr. Scott Varley, and he was the one who showed me how to incorporate chiropractic and acupuncture. And I've seen many beautiful things happen. A lot of people getting healed. And yeah, I mean, it was just amazing to shadow. And I was very fortunate and very lucky to be able to be with Dr. Scott Varley and Dr. Guo for about 3 years before I graduated.
We have a lot of chiropractors in this town, and I think a lot of people go to chiropractors. The experience from one to the other can vary widely depending on what you get when you walk in the door. how many people you see? I mean, are you just like a one-man shop? Some people have a whole team or assistants, things like that. What is it like working with you? What is your day-to-day like?
Yeah, well, I mean, it all depends. Some people are open to getting both chiropractic and acupuncture. I think a person heals better by doing both, and some people prefer chiropractic. I mean, I cater to whatever the person wants or needs. All I do is I give my opinion, my personal professional opinion, and I do suggestions. I don't push anything. And so, yes, I do have patients who come in and they just want straight chiropractic. And I have patients who come in and they already have a chiropractor, and so they just want to do straight acupuncture. And then I have some patients who come in and, they want to do both.
Let's kind of slow it down. I want to paint the picture of what it's like when like a patient comes in. So you're downtown. How long have you been downtown now?
I've been downtown for almost 2 years.
Okay. And are you right on the strip there, or what was the address again?
Yeah, it's right off of Main Street.
Yeah.
And it's 624 Main Avenue.
Okay. So you're kind of over by Front Street and Babs. Is that and the Bell Bank?
Yes, right. Right by there, right by Rhombus Pizza.
Yeah. Are you in there? Or are you maybe downstairs there? It's kind of a bigger complex. I don't know if people realize.
It's downstairs. It is a pretty big complex. You can't really tell from the outside, but it is. Yeah, it's in the same. There's another business there, Salon Duo, which is the main. The main business. It's the main entrance, so it's the same entrance. And I'm right downstairs, right by Cellar 624.
Yes.
Yep. Courthouse area there.
Yeah, I know exactly where that is. I've been to Cellar 624 a handful of times. So are you getting a lot of walk-in traffic, or how are people even finding you to begin with?
Well, I do quite a bit of networking.
Yeah.
There is some, walk-through traffic. There are residents who live in the area.
Okay.
Or live in the building.
Yeah.
And so there are other businesses as well. So there is some traffic, but a majority is through networking and through word of mouth.
Yeah, the joke, and I have to tell it every time I have a chiropractor on. So I am a realtor at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Premier Properties. I licensed realtor. That's my number one paying gig, and I always joke that if you take a realtor, a mortgage guy, a finance guy, an insurance guy, and a chiropractor, they'll just start a networking group because they, for our sins, like we just need to know people, like real estate, and I've said this many times, like right now we're in full-blown summer, so there's 500 homes for sale, but there's 1,000 realtors. Like, it's just an oversaturated market. I imagine chiropractic feels very similarly, right? You're maybe the 5th chiropractor I've had on this year.
Yeah. I mean, yes and no. It's what I tell people. It's like, a lot of people think that, chiropractor, that must be competition. It's like, no, not really. It's like we all have our own unique skills.
Yeah.
And we all have different things that we bring to the table. Some chiropractors focus straight on just chiropractic. Some chiropractors focus straight on something called an activator. Some chiropractors incorporate some, physiotherapy, physical therapy into their practice. And so, also, there are, I don't know how many chiropractors in town, maybe, let's just say 100, right? But there are about 300 over 300,000 people in the Fargo Moorhead area.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're going to tell me that one chiro is going to help every single person? It's like, no, let's be realistic. It's like,
there's plenty of work to go around.
Yeah, and there's plenty of people to help.
So you're meeting a lot of people through, what does networking look like to you then? What is it that you're doing that's networking?
Oh, okay. Well, basically what we do is, or what I do is I join networking groups, and, we all have to get together. A lot of businesses, different businesses, we all get together.
Which ones are you in?
It's Giver's Gain, Fargo Giver's Gain.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they're over at the... Gosh, you must have run into me then. Or
probably.
How long have you been there?
Because you look familiar. TC,
they're down at the bank on 52nd, right?
Yes. Town and Country.
Fargo Givers.
Yes, Fargo Givers, that one.
Yeah, and they're a great group. If the realtor ever falls out, I'd love to join up. They're a good one. Are you just in the one then, or how many other networking groups are you in?
Just in that one right now.
Okay, yeah. But in the past, right? So because a lot of people, why don't you paint the picture? What's a networking group to somebody who's never been to a networking group? Because I think people hear networking and they go, oh, so I need to I don't know, go to the bar, or I need to be on Facebook more often. But no, there's intentional networking. What does that look like?
Yeah, so basically when you network, the intention is to get your name and what you do out there. And, eventually it's also building a relationship with other businesses, right?
Yeah.
And so we meet every Thursday, and usually we do a 30-second kind of like a little infomercial type of deal. It's we get up, we introduce ourselves. Hey, my name is, Dr. Edison Arouse. I'm a chiropractic acupuncturist. If you know anyone who suffers from headaches or migraines, I can help them out. And therefore, there's 20 other business people, and they're like, huh. And then it gets the mind and the gears thinking.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I know so-and-so who has migraines or headaches. Oh, you help with that? Oh, okay, cool. Let me give them your information and put you guys in contact.
Yes. Yeah, probably the gold standard for networking groups is BNI. Most networking groups, understanding, were originally a BNI, and then they kind of shuck that off. But it is, like I say, there's always the realtor, the mortgage guy, the insurance guy, the finance guy, and the chiropractor. Those are always the taken spots. And then you just meet every week for an hour. And usually the first half is spent just everybody sharing, here's who I am and what I need, right?
Yeah.
And then the second half doing some kind of a presentation or something along those lines.
Yeah, correct. I mean, and it's needed because as a chiropractor, when we go to school, they don't teach you about business, right?
Yeah.
It's not like we can, we graduate school and all of a sudden we have an office or a clinic waiting for us with, 500 people in line waiting to come see us, like any other hospital or whatnot. And so networking is very important.
Yeah.
Especially if you don't have that already established business or a business that, you can kind of just jump in or get contracted with, because it's different.
And so most of your day-to-day is spent in the office, seeing people, when they come in. Is it mostly people who are returning, or how often do you have new clients? I mean, what is it like being, if somebody were to say to themselves, I want to be a chiropractor, I want to do what you do, I want to become the same as you, what could they expect for their day-to-day life if they were to do that?
Well, I mean, it all depends. It varies. If you've already have an established business, you're going to spend most of your time in the office, doing a lot of notes and just taking care of people.
Yeah.
For example, me, I'm a one-man team right now, and so I handle a lot of the paperwork by myself.
Not even an assistant?
Not yet, not at this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to start looking for one pretty shortly here, pretty soon. But no, right now I do everything on my own, except for the whole billing. I hired out a billing company that does that.
Yeah.
And so that's helped out quite a bit.
Yeah.
But for essentially, yes, I mean, I do a lot of the paperwork myself and the treatment, and then after that, then we have to write down the notes.
Yeah.
But when it comes to dealing with insurance, I had to hire a billing company, a professional billing company that does that, because it was just too much.
It's a handful.
It is, yeah.
It's all the little things. And so you've been downtown for 2 years, but how long have you been on your own doing it all for you? Because most people start out, like you said, under somebody and then working in more of I don't know what you call them, a firm, where it's a bunch of people together. Yeah. But you being the one-man show, how long has it been just you and only you doing everything by yourself?
Yeah, 2 years.
Okay, so downtown was where you decided to hang out your shingle.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
And so you said 17 years, so for 15 years you were under or with other people?
Well, for 15 years, yes, I was working with other people, other offices. And I was also, for 10 years, because I was in Canada as well. I practiced in Canada for about almost 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah, and there I was on my own, but then I had a team. I had a receptionist, an assistant, stuff like that.
So you had already started out from the ground on your own in Canada, and that was 12 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it started back in 2000. Because I went to Canada after I graduated from National in Chicago.
And the very first thing you did was hang out your shingle? So you did for National, it took you 5 years working under people and working through that, getting that degree. You were down in Chicago, not Minneapolis. Almost everybody here went to the Minneapolis.
Yeah, most people that you'll meet here graduated from Minneapolis area.
Yeah, but you were Chicago.
Chicago.
What was that? Is that where you're from originally, or where?
No, well, that's where I was raised, but originally, I'm from Nicaragua, Central America.
Oh,
and
cool.
so yeah, we emigrated to the U.S. in the 80s. During the whole Iran-Contra conflict that was happening, aka war that was happening.
Yeah.
And so I was a product of that.
I know nothing about that. But Nicaragua is in South America, right?
Central.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Central America.
Okay. Which is okay.
Yeah, which is just a lot of people know Costa Rica, okay. And when people say Nicaragua, they start looking automatically like in Africa because it sounds like it would be an African country.
Well, and especially so with Iran, like what was Iran doing in Central America? I don't even know.
Well, I mean, they've made movies about it, like the one with Tom Cruise, American Made. Or the other movie is called To Kill a Messenger.
Yeah. And
so it's basically, it talks about what happened down in Central America.
Yeah.
Where basically it was a proxy Russia-U.S. conflict that was happening in Nicaragua. Basically, there was the president of Nicaragua. At that time, he wanted to pass down power to his sons, and he was backed by the U.S. And so naturally, Russia came and said, "Hey, you know, what's going on?" And the people of Nicaragua said, we don't want any more American influence or corruption. And so, a civil war started in that area.
Fun.
And they were, after around late 80s, what happened was that the reporter who broke the news in the movie called To Kill a Messenger, he was found dead, suicided with 2 gunshot wounds to the head.
Yeah.
And so he broke the news that the U.S., the CIA was involved.
Wow.
Where they were using drug money to fund the war, a civil war in Nicaragua. So what happened was there was a civil war that was happening a proxy war between U.S. and Russia. U.S. lost. And then what happened was that the CIA came, and then they started funding another, another militia through drug money. But they were they were using Iran to sell weapons to Nicaragua. So they were selling the weapons, or giving the weapons to Iran, and proxy, they were selling the weapons to the Contras in Nicaragua.
And there were no negative consequences to that at all.
No, not that I know of. Yeah, none. None at all.
And so you were like 5 or 6. And
I was 5 years old.
And your family was
4.
like, we are getting out of here.
Yeah, it was just, it was a war that wasn't ending, and it was just getting worse.
Yeah.
And so when I was 4 years old, we decided to, once we got the asylum, we decided to venture and head to the U.S.
4 years old is quite young. I mean, do you remember life in Nicaragua?
I do remember. I do remember quite a bit. It was pretty tragic seeing, dead people on the streets.
Oh my goodness!
At 4 years old, and once we got the paperwork,
this was serious. I mean, it was widespread.
Oh yeah.
I mean, this wasn't just like panic. I'm worried that things might happen.
No.
So let's get out of here ahead of time.
Yeah.
You guys were leaving an active war zone
that was happening.
Goodness gracious.
So the only thing is that we had to make our way to the U.S. on our own. So we didn't get any help or anything like that.
Yeah.
It was like,
you were still granted asylum, and they were like, you have asylum as long as you can get here.
You can get here.
Whew.
Correct. Yes, 100%. And so we had a venture. My mother, my brother was 6 months old, and it was just me. My father was already in Dallas, but he had to save up enough money.
So Dad was gone. When did Dad leave?
He left in May of 1984. And then, no, he left
So before hostilities broke out, or
around the time,
in the midst of them?
around the time.
Yeah.
There was
and why did he leave?
because there was a time of calm in that area and at the time.
Yeah.
But things were still brewing.
Yeah.
The new government was taking place, which is more of like a communistic type of government that was taking place.
I'm not trying to pass judgment.
Yeah.
But like, I'm a father.
Yep.
You're a father. We have kids. If stuff was going down, the last thing I'd want to do is separate myself from my kids. Like, what was the thinking? Like, this is the only venue to go and. I mean, what do you think? Do you know? You met up with him again later, right?
Yes. Yes. I mean, our whole family was down there.
Yeah.
And so we had my uncles and stuff like that down there. My aunt, my grandmothers, both of my grandmothers. So
it's not like he was just leaving. You got okay. Yeah. I don't have a lot of family, so like I'm just picturing just myself, and then my wife is just left with the kids alone. Yeah. But your uncle and everybody was still around. And so he like darted out to scout out the U.S. In Dallas.
We had family already in Dallas. My dad already had family in Dallas, and so once we got the go ahead for the asylum, he went to Dallas first, worked in construction. Once he had enough money to pay the coyotes, then he sent for us. And so
why did you have to pay coyotes if you had? I mean, my idea of a coyote is somebody who runs you illegally. If you already had asylum, what was the coyote?
Well, because you have to go through 3 other countries. And you have to have it. They were more of like a guide at the time. Yeah.
Well, maybe those other countries don't. I mean, I haven't really thought too deeply about this. Probably the other countries don't take kindly to people just passing through.
Interesting enough, yes, they didn't at the time. There was a big, there's a big conflict. And it wasn't just in Nicaragua. There was also happening in El Salvador. Yeah. And that's where... that the whole MS-13 stuff started. A lot of MS-13 guys were, prior military.
Yeah.
Which the same thing was happening.
Jeez.
Same in El Salvador. So it was a big, huge conflict. And it was because, Russia had a big influence down in Central America at the time.
Yeah.
And it was, again, the whole that was happening in the Middle East years ago. It's happening in Central America in the 80s.
Yeah. Yeah, migrant crisis and the whole shebang of it. And, and once you start studying the history of these things, you realize like it all like it just keeps going back. It keeps going back. It repeats, but it's really all like of the same. Like, and when you really start pulling on the threads, it's like, oh, this because of this, because of this, because of this, because of this, because of the Crusades, because of this. Like it gets crazy. It really does.
Yeah,
like,
it does.
Like you start looking for first causes, and there really isn't one.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the wild part of it all is everybody can say, yeah, these people wronged me 50 years ago. And it's like, yeah, they did because those people wronged them 50, And
correct. When does it stop?
Goes back to the dawn of humanity.
Yeah. When does it stop? It's like, even with us, interestingly enough, my dad sends money for us to the coyote or to the guide, and the guide takes us to the border of Nicaragua and Honduras, and he looks at my mother and at me and tells us to get out. So he was paid to take us all the way through, but then he abandoned us.
Oh boy.
And it was just my mother. My mother at the time was like 23, 22.
Yeah.
And so my mother said, I didn't know what else to do. There's no cell phones back then.
Yeah.
She just had the money that my dad sent. And she said all she did was okay and just kept going north.
And how long did it take you? Like, did she have like a compass in hand? Like, how does she know it's north? Just following the sun? Like, how does she know she's going in the right direction?
Well, I mean, you follow all the other people as well, right?
Okay.
So it wasn't huge. It wasn't like huge caravans, but there were people making their way further north.
Wow.
Yeah, and so
unbelievable. I can't imagine.
Yeah.
And you're just 4 years old.
I was 4 years old, going through, I remember going through the desert. I remember stopping in Mexico. I remember, things like that. I remember crossing the border. At one point we were in the desert, and I was so extremely tired. And we were just walking. We had another guide at that point. We were pretty close to the U.S. border. And I just wanted to sit down and rest. My mother goes, you see way over there? And I'm like, yeah. She goes, that's where your father is. And I just started, kept going, and it kept me going. And at that point, I remember sitting down, and I was just tired. I just wanted to lay down and just sleep. and my mom started walking. All of a sudden, I hear this like, and my mom looks at me. She goes, "Edison, run!" There was a rattlesnake, and I remember getting up and running and hearing a snap, like snap. And at that time, I tripped, and I guess we were going down a little hill. I tripped, and I started rolling down. And I faintly remember that now. And I had cactus needles all over my leg.
Goodness.
And so when August 10th, 1985, when we landed in Dallas, first thing my dad was take cactus needles out of my legs and the pus that was coming out.
Jesus.
Yeah, I was 5 years old. I turned 5 years old when we landed in Dallas, Texas. I still remember. Not the greatest part of the area either.
What was it like adjusting? So I mean, you get to America, and so you must be excited. Like, we finally made it. Like, what does that feel like coming from such a different place, especially because Nicaragua? I mean, obviously, nowhere is as wealthy as the United States, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Nicaragua was quite poor. What was that like? All of the sudden.
Well, at the time, back in the day, Nicaragua was one of the most well-off Latin American countries in Latin America.
Okay.
At one point, Nicaragua had a better economy than Brazil. But then what happened was, again, political, corruption, or whatever you want to call it. It happens quick.
Yeah.
And so things started going downhill quick.
Yeah.
And so, when I remember being in the U.S., I just remember just being happy to see my father again and being together, with my dad. But it was interesting enough because around that age was around 6, 7 years old was around the time where I knew that I wanted to be a doctor. And the reason being is because, when we came to the U.S., no one ever gave us a hand. We slept in, I still remember the Pink House right by Winnetka, the elementary school in Dallas, and people can look it up. It's a pink house, and we lived in the garage. And we slept on the floor. My dad and I slept on the floor, and my mother and my baby brother slept on the couch until we were able to earn enough money to get an apartment or to rent a house.
In Dallas?
In Dallas, Texas. Yeah. Yeah, in Dallas, Texas. And because my brother was very sick, there was a doctor, Dr. Davis, in Dallas, and he would see my brother, and he would help us, even though we didn't have insurance or anything like that. But my father would pay him what we could.
Yeah.
And the doctor still helped us quite a bit, and he helped us out a lot.
How did you meet this doctor? Where was he?
I don't know. He was out of Dallas, Texas, in that area, and I guess he was one of the doctors that helped at that time because I guess there was a lot of immigrants that came to the U.S.
Wow.
And so he took pity on us, or the immigrant community, and my father would pay him whenever he could. We'd pay him cash, but he would see us, and he would see my brother because my brother was very sick when he was a baby. He had obstructive bowel, and so we couldn't afford to go to the hospital, and so they would have to help my brother out, with like tongue depressors and stuff like that, because he would have obstructive bowel disease and stuff.
And that doctor's kindness impressed upon you even at that young age.
Even at that young age,
you said to yourself, "Well, I want to be just like this guy."
Yeah.
And then somehow or another, you guys end up in Chicago.
Yeah. So my father was my father was in the university. He graduated as an electronic engineer back in Nicaragua.
Okay.
And then the whole conflict, war, whatever you want to call it, started. It started in 1979, but then it calmed down, and then it was starting up again. And so when he left Nicaragua, he left with his diploma as an electronic engineer. And when he landed in Dallas, he became a construction worker. And so he was also a healthcare aide or home health that he was also doing. He did multiple things, multiple jobs, whatever brought money in, he would do.
Make the ends meet.
Yes.
An engineer is somebody who understands the moving parts, high math. I don't think people hear engineer, and I don't think they know.
Yes.
It is along the lines of construction in that, like, everything that is built had to first be designed not by an architect makes it pretty and makes it functional, but it's the engineers who literally make things
correct
work.
Yes.
And so your father here with an engineering degree being in construction.
Yes.
That it's very, it's like Walter White with the one of the greatest chemist minds teaching high school chemistry.
Yeah.
It's like
Correct.
that, like an engineer
Yes.
doing construction. It's like, this is
Absolutely.
kind of an adjacent field.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah, and so I remember, going on car rides with him and him explained to me how the light would work.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so he explained to me how things worked electronically and all that jazz.
Yes.
And so, but, I guess that wasn't paying enough. I don't know what the situation was.
The job
young.
wasn't available, or maybe the language skills weren't there. I mean, did you guys speak English when you came?
No,
Yeah.
not one word of English.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember my father, when he first got paid, he had a $5 bill or a $1 bill. That was a $5 bill framed. Like, this is the first $5 US, and he was so proud that, he had it framed and up on the wall for the longest time.
Yeah.
And
And obviously, moving at such a young age, you were able to assimilate, and your English doesn't even have an accent. I want to think you came from Nicaragua.
Yeah.
Did your father eventually must have learned English and then started doing engineering work eventually?
Well, that's the funny part. He tried going back to robotics engineering or robotics when we were in Chicago, and he worked for a robotics company for quite a couple years.
Yeah.
And the thing with that was that he felt stuck. And they weren't moving him up, and then he's got tired of working for other people and not working for himself, and so he quit that and then became a truck driver. He said, "I'm going to work for myself.
Yeah. Wow.
Screw this."
Wow.
And he became a truck driver in Chicago. And so first he was national.
Wow.
And then once my brother got sick with appendicitis and he had to have surgery, my dad said, "Okay, no, I'm not doing any more cross country."
Yeah.
And he focused more on local
truck driving.
Local truck driving in Chicago.
Wow.
In Chicago.
Chicago's a great city.
Chicago is a beautiful city, but like any other place on earth, it has its dangerous parts as well.
Sure. No, I mean, I grew up around here. Sometimes we'd go to the cities, which is the Twin Cities, Minneapolis area. That was the extent. But besides the year I spent living in Japan, I never left Fargo. My wife and I in the last 4 or 5 years, drove down to Chicago. It's a really beautiful place. I mean, it's a nice city. It's very nice.
Yeah. It's lots to see.
Yeah.
I mean, it's downtown Chicago. Excuse me. It's very safe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Millennium Park and all that. It's very safe. I mean, it's.
But how about you guys didn't live in the safe part?
Well, we lived for a little bit. We lived in Cicero. It wasn't the greatest area.
Yeah.
And then we eventually moved to the suburbs, which was Carroll Stream, Wheaton.
On a truck driver's salary.
On a truck driver's salary. They paid. Yeah. At that time they paid.
Yeah.
They paid pretty well.
Well, the 90s was a different time, wasn't it?
Yes. Yes. Very much different time.
Was. And so this whole time you're saying to yourself, "I want to be a doctor. I want to be a doctor." Your father, who has this highbrow background, isn't so full of himself that he's not able to do construction, or
Correct.
he's not able to say, "Well, I don't want to do robotics, even though this is using my mental muscles. I would rather flex my freedom and be independent." He's a man after my heart. I mean, I feel similarly to him. I mean, I like to brag how I haven't had a job in 15 years, right? So I like your dad. He's a cool guy. You are coming up in Chicago. You're going through the public high school system.
Yes.
And you're saying to yourself, "I want to be a doctor."
Yes.
When does the idea of chiropractic, because that is, I mean, and we've talked about it a lot on the show, and I almost should put all the chiropractic episodes in a list together so you could just listen to 8 hours of chiropractors talk. One of the through lines is definitely that, some people like to say allopathic medicine, traditional MDs, like what we think of when we say a medical doctor, so-called, their hands are tied. They don't have that freedom. There's a lot of restrictions that they have. Was that part of what you found attractive about chiropractic, or how did you initially even come to hear about it or become aware of it as an option?
Well, I mean, oddly enough, when I was 17, I was in a car accident, and I went to go see, my mother took me to go see a chiropractor. I didn't
the
know the
accident,
difference.
yeah.
After the accident, because my neck was hurting.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize that he was I thought he was just a
Regular old doctor.
regular old doctor
Yeah.
who did bone movement or whatever
Yeah.
the case, right?
Yeah.
And so that was my first experience with chiropractic. I was a medic in the military. I joined in 1998, and I was a combat medic in the military, and I was getting ready to get out of active duty and go into the reserves. And by this time, I was actually, my last duty station was in Grand Forks. And so I was looking into UND and what they had. But at first I wanted to be a medical doctor.
Yeah.
But then the docs that I worked with in the emergency room and all that, they were always busy, always stressed.
Yeah.
Hands tied.
I want to get there, and we've got maybe 10 minutes left. I told you it goes fast.
Yeah.
But I got to know more about this military thing. I
Yeah.
mean, that's where does that fit in there? Because when did you decide? So I want to do medic. You go, you get in a car accident, and then you say, "No, I'm going to join up for the military to become a medical doctor." Was the idea, or what makes you want to pick up military background is always unique for me because I am a coward, and I really don't want to get into any kind of a violent confrontation. I don't understand the so walk me through the mindset that says I'm going to be a hired gun for the USG. Like I don't.
I'll try and cut it short here, the story. Well, before I decided to join the military, I was actually got a good position, a very unique position with a chemical company called D.A. Stewart by the time I was 14 years old. And so, how
did you get that?
I was part of a Christian community center, a Christian group, and there was a guy who was there who was a volunteer, who was a chemist at an international chemical company based out of Germany called D.A. Stewart out of Warrenville, Illinois. And he was volunteering. And he had a colleague who had Parkinson's disease, and he couldn't do a lot of the chemistry, but he could do a lot of the typing or a lot of the informational work. And so this gentleman, we'll call him Scott, who was a volunteer at this Christian community center, asked our head guide, as you can
in the
Christian community center, if he knew anyone who would be interested in an intern position, like his internship.
Yeah.
And this guy's name is Lyndon Nascuna, and he said yes. Let's talk to Edison. And so the gentleman came up. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I stood out in the crowd.
Yeah.
There were a bunch of us, but I guess I just stood out in the crowd.
Okay.
And so Scott, came up to me and said, "Hey, here's some paperwork. Ask your parents. There's a process to go through." And I brought it up to my father. My father said, yeah, absolutely. And so I interviewed with the D.A. Stewart people, Dr. Patel at the time. I had to take a test, the ACS, American Chemical Society test, and obviously I passed. So I got this position, this very rare, unique internship position as a chemist assistant to a chemist. And so I was there I interned there for about 3 years. And being a dumb 17-year-old, I was sitting there in the lab with my lab coat, with my name on the lab coat, pocket protector. Now I know they have pocket protectors.
Yeah.
Yes, it actually works and it helps. Love it.
Sure.
And goggles. And I was sitting there and doing viscosity tests. And at the same time, I was a senior and my friend was joining the military. And I said, I can't do this for the rest of my life.
Oh, no.
I want to do something else.
Oh, no.
And so yeah.
You felt stuck?
I didn't feel, I was.
At 17?
At 17, yes. At 17, I was already 3 years within the company. And they offered me a unique position where they said, you speak Spanish? I said, yes. You're taking German? I said, yes. Well, it's a German-based company. I want you and the vice president of this sector, of the Wheaton sector, to go to South America.
Yeah.
He's going to take you under his wing. We're going to pay for your university. We're going to pay for your room and board. We're going to give you everything. But the thing is, you need to get your degree in business, keep taking German, and chemistry. And I said, sure, of course. First I said yes. And then I'm sitting there in the lab, doing viscosity tests, looked in the mirror. I saw myself in the white lab coat, goggles. I was like, I don't want to do this forever.
Oh, no.
Not knowing that they were sending me to South America to open up a South American sector with a vice president, right?
Yeah.
Of the company. So I decided to join the military.
Instead,
I said, I want adventure. That's exactly what I told myself. I want adventure. I want excitement. So, so that's what I did.
Similarly, I left a STEM degree to get a communications degree. So, I think we all, when we are young, make mistakes.
Yes. Yeah. No, definitely. I mean, they were going to send me to Germany to meet the president of this multi-billion-dollar
I think
industry.
your mistake was bigger than mine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so then you joined the military, and that's like a whole thing.
And that was a whole...
Because we don't have the time for it.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
But... because that changes you. I mean, even if you don't get deployed, just being forced into that mold, that has to kind of strip you of a lot of. I don't know. It boils you down. People talk about how it changes you, but then so many military people, so many people who I have in here are ex-military.
Yeah.
Have a military experience. What is it about the military that makes people more entrepreneurial? Or do you think it comes pre-baked into you? Because your father had that, where he says, I don't want to do the robotics thing, I'm going to hang out my shingle, right?
Yeah.
You say, I don't want to work for a hospital, I'm going to be a chiropractor, right?
Yeah.
Like that's kind of the through line I'm seeing. Do you see that? And do you see how the military might be playing in there somehow? Because I'm not seeing that connection.
Sometimes in leadership roles, partly because we don't want to be told what to do for the rest of our lives anymore. And so it's kind of taking that control back.
Because the military tells you so much what to do.
Yeah, like when I got out, I swore to myself I'd never wear a watch again, and so I haven't had a watch on since.
So I do tend to get along with military people in a very special way, and I've never been able to put my finger on it because military people strike me as obedient rule followers. They would have to be in order to be in the military.
Yeah.
And I cannot be told what to do, which is why I don't have a job, right? Like, and I've always been like, what is that match there? But what you're telling me, it sounds like experience with the military will take a normal person and kind of turn them into someone more like myself, where because you have the military, you're so sick of taking orders from idiots, and you just don't want to be at the mercy of somebody dumber than you ever again.
Yeah,
pretty much, right? Did I hit the nail on the head?
Yes, yeah, definitely.
And so you use your military experience to get some medical experience. What is a combat medic? Like, what is that? What is that?
We're trained for field medic. We're trained for combat situations, not only just for combat situations, for situations where you're the only healthcare provider. Yeah. It could be in a village. It could be in a squad. It could be anywhere. I even did training for a year and a half in labor and delivery, where it was only 3 males and the rest were all females.
Yeah.
Talk about like being humbled. Man, that was that was interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, that was an experience.
And so it's not just triage, but it's also just like the basics of how much aspirin to give someone. Like
aspirin is the
wonder drug is what I've heard.
That heals everything, even broken bones.
Yeah, depending on how much aspirin we're giving. Yeah, right? Because that's what you guys have on hand. I know I've read a couple books. So, and so you get out as a combat medic. You're up in UND. And you say, I'm going to go back to Chicago and become a chiropractor? Like, how does that? And we got like 5 minutes.
Yeah, no, that's okay. No, so I mean, I was, believe it or not, this is a funny one. If you were a 90s kid, the doc that I worked with was, his name was Dr. Ruth. And so here, my name, Dr. Ruth back in the day was a sex therapist, an old lady who was a sex therapist.
I did not know that.
Who had her own show.
Okay, we're like 6 years apart. You're maybe 6 years older than me, so like the generational difference is just barely there. Yeah. I don't know
so
Dr. Ruth.
Yeah, so
I grew up on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Gotcha.
And Ellen.
Yeah, and so it was funny. It was Dr. Ruth, and they're called Edison Arouse. And so we were quite a team.
I see.
So you had the sex therapist and you had the arouse guy there. Correct. Yeah.
There you go. There's the fun.
Yeah, and he was actually the one who convinced me because he knew that I wanted to be a doc, and he was always under stress. He was from Wisconsin, And he said, why don't you look into alternative like chiro or, or naturopath or something like that. And at that time, I was just curious to see what else was out there and just talking to him, having conversations with him. And so I started doing my research. And it just seemed more and more appealing to me.
Yeah.
And so, so I started doing more research about chiropractic and naturopathic medicine. I was actually more interested in naturopathic medicine. And then I saw that there was a chiro school who was, at that time, they were looking into teaching or having naturopathic medicine at the school as well at National University.
And this was the Chicago one that you...
And this is the Chicago one.
That's why you ended up back home, because your family is still in Chicago,
My
right?
family was about 25 minutes away from the Chicago
it feels
school,
like
Lombard
Kismet.
School.
Yeah.
And so, once I had my credentials and everything all done to graduate from UND, I was in the reserves at the time because I got out of active duty and joined the reserves. I literally went up to the registrar. I was like, do I have to be here for my graduation? Okay, you guys just send me my diploma. And it's like, no, you don't have to be here. You don't have to walk. I'm like, great. Where do I sign? Send me my diploma. I'm out of here. Literally, I signed it. Within 3 days, I was gone.
Yeah.
Like, I packed up my car, packed up everything, left whatever I could take.
Why were you in such a hurry to leave?
I was just done with Grand Forks. I'm not from Grand Forks. I'm not from the area.
Yeah.
I was just done with Grand Forks, and I was there alone. And so it was just, all my friends got deployed. All my friends were gone, and so it was just me, myself, and I. Yeah, and so I was just excited
at that time,
to go
you had
back
never
home.
lived in Fargo?
No.
So then what brought you, because I got to know now, and especially because people don't know, there is like a quiet rivalry between Grand Forks and Fargo. Fargo obviously being the bigger, badder city. We're a whole metro here, but they got a Twin Cities thing going up, just an hour north of here.
Yeah.
What brought you to Fargo, and what's the biggest difference between Grand Forks and Fargo?
Oh, okay. Well, Fargo is a bigger city. I hate Grand Forks.
Tell me how you really feel.
I like Fargo. I always tell people if Fargo was somewhere further south, then I'd love it even more.
Yeah.
But then it wouldn't be Fargo,
Yes.
right? Because then it'd be another bigger city because it's the way Fargo's going.
Well, and our weather, I call our immigration policy.
Yeah.
Because you must be this tough to live here.
Yeah.
And, what are you going to do? Go down to Iowa where it's just slush half the year anyway? That's the thing.
That's true. Yes. Yes. That's true.
Yeah.
It's like picture poison. Would you rather have that wet, slushy, cold?
Chicago too, right?
Chicago has that.
Yeah. Well, especially with the Great Lakes there.
Yes.
Yeah. Every winter you're just slogging through there.
Yes.
At least here we get the deep freeze.
That is true.
And you just
Absolutely.
stay inside.
Yeah. You won't be wet, cold, and icy. You're
Yeah.
just going to be dry and icy up here.
Yeah.
So that's completely true. But no, Grand Forks, it wasn't opportunities, less people. Obviously, being a chiropractor, you want to be more in an area where there's more people.
Yeah.
And so, and I do like Fargo. I really enjoy it here.
Did you come up here to hang your shingle? So were you before that, or where were you before?
Oh, before I was in Fargo, I was in Canada. I was in
jeez.
I was in
You've
Winnipeg,
been all
in
over,
Canada.
but the show, I can't. Usually, I get us up there, but you have so many detours. So you go to Chicago. Okay, I want to get this though. We've got 4 minutes. You go down to Chicago, you get the class, and then you go take it in Canada.
In Winnipeg. Okay, well,
why
the thing
will
is,
work in Winnipeg of all places?
Well, that's okay. So when they send us to Grand Forks, the main thing they tell us in the military is like, hey, there's a bigger city in Winnipeg. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of us were from bigger cities. Yeah. Right? And so a lot of us would drive up to Winnipeg to get away. And a lot of us were at the time 18, 19, 20, or just turning 21. And so we could all drink. Right? And there was there's actually a joint military base up in Winnipeg. And that we could stay there for like $30.
Yeah, that was a good
$30
good
a
time
night.
place for you.
Mm-hmm.
What's the population like up there?
It's about 1 million.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it's like 4 times the size.
It's
and
Winnipeg
probably more
is
dense.
Pretty big. Yeah, it is a bit more dense.
Yeah. How's it compared to the cities? I don't know if I've been there.
The cities
like
is better. The infrastructure in Winnipeg isn't, not to knock down Winnipeg or whatnot, but it is what it is. Facts are facts. Yeah. Facts don't, have feelings, as they say. The infrastructure in Winnipeg sucks. It's more of a socialistic type of environment.
Sure.
And so, and the thing about Winnipeg is that, how the roads in certain areas are grid? are
Yeah.
gridded.
Yeah.
In Winnipeg, I kid you not, it's not a grid. It is follow the river.
Yep.
And so, so when they build their roads, they're like, hey, let's just put this road here, and let's see where it ends up. And if this is here, let's just cross it here and see where it ends up.
Yeah, and Fargo being the opposite of that, because the whole city's on a grid. It's really, you can get anywhere in 10 minutes. Like, it's great.
Correct. Yeah, not in Winnipeg.
Yeah, okay.
It doesn't happen in Winnipeg.
Okay.
And it's just so I mean, it's an okay place to live.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't stay. Most people in Winnipeg or in Canada itself move to the U.S. whenever they can.
Yeah, and so when did you leave? When did you get to Fargo?
I got to Fargo around COVID timeframe back in 2020.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, end of 2019.
Yeah, what a time.
Mm-hmm.
What a time.
Yeah, it was interesting time, I'm telling you.
Man,
it was,
we are leaving all kinds of stuff on the cutting room floor because that's the show.
Yeah, that's okay. That's all right.
I mean, usually I got a pithy little way, but you really are all over the place, and that's crazy. I'm glad you've made Fargo your home.
Yes.
It's a great city. You're a great guy for coming on. Last thing I'd like to have you do is plug yourself. If somebody wants to find you, if they want to come and maybe just hear more about your story, or
definitely.
Ask you questions, or maybe get acupuncture or chiropractic or herbal medicines, how should they get a hold of you?
Yes, definitely. So phone number is 701-212-4969, and it's edison-chiropractic.com. I'm at 624 Main Avenue, Suite 4. And how people find me is the same entrance and building as Salon Duo is. It seems a lot of people know where that is. And I'm in the first floor in that area. And it's the same area as Cellar 624, or now the new Teddy's, where I guess it's going up. And so, I mean, if anyone has any questions, edisonchiropractic@gmail.com as well. If anyone has any questions or just about acupuncture, I've been doing it for about 20 years now, and chiropractic around the same time, about 20 years now for both. So.
Thank you very much. And of course, I'm Conrad Fargo. You can find me anywhere. You can type in Conrad and Fargo. If you just put those two words together, you'll find me. You could please like, share, and subscribe. That way I know that you found me and you liked me, and I get some validation. I'm a millennial. I need that validation, so please go out there and do that. Dr. Edison, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story. Very interesting story. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We are going to listen because you let me pick what I want, so now we're going to listen to Zed's Dead.
Yeah, sounds good.
That's what I'm into, so we'll do that. We'll see everybody next week. Goodbye.
Thank you.